Hello, welcome to the land of Kakiak. My name is Laurel. Today's just a homeschool chatty kind of update video. I've got some new books, I've got a curriculum change, and it's going to talk about Christmas. Okay, I'll start with so if you don't know us, my name is Laurel. I have 3 boys. They are in 1st, 4th, and 8th grade, and we homeschool. I once took a quiz that was supposed to tell you your homeschooling style, and it said mine was traditional. I don't know if that speaks to anybody else, but I guess I'm not that interesting. I'm somebody who loves vintage curriculum. We use the McGuffey readers. I use number stories and study arithmetic series for math, which is like a series. I think the ones we're currently using are from the 40s. And it's like my favorite math curriculum ever for like the elementary years. And but I think a lot of people who are drawn to, I feel like, the vintage curriculums are like taking more of a Charlotte Mason track, and I don't. I'm just not. I'm glad that it works for people. I find myself like always getting kind of like in crossover like platforms and YouTube channels and stuff. Like I find myself looking at and hearing a lot from Charlotte Mason homeschoolers because I like their curriculum choices. Like I like the books they use and stuff like that, but it's just not my actual teaching style. I'm more traditional, I guess. I take a lot of vintage curriculum and use it in a more traditional way, which is, for me, I guess that would mean just more like explicit teaching. You know, you teach it and then they practice it, and then I check it and like, how is it looking? Do we need more of this? Do we need to change that? And of course, I've got modern influences as well. So today I was going to show you some new books that I've picked up for the boys. Let's start with my kindergartner. So for my kindergartner, I bought this book. The Tale of Jack and the Fallen Giants. I saw Jonathan Pajot giving an interview with Michaela Fuller, and he was talking about these books. So I went to his website, The Symbolic World, and picked up this one. And yeah, I like to have a tradition of, like, at Christmas, getting some kind of like keepsake book. And so this was my pick for this year. I do really like the illustrations. He's got, more of a focus on the deeper meanings behind fairy tales. I took a class, like an online course or, like lecture series on fairy tales through Hillsdale. I'll try to find it and link it for you if you're interested in that kind of stuff. Okay, so there's that one. This is actually, I got to wrap it and put it under the tree. Okay, next thing that's new for my 1st grader is foundational phonics. So I picked this up. We're doing the McGuffey primer with him this year. So when I taught my 2nd son how to read, prior to starting the McGuffey primer, we completed Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons. And that program worked like a charm for him. Like it went off without a hitch. And then he just dove right into the primer, ate that up, and kept going. So I really felt like it gave him a good foundation. Now, with my younger son, he was I think it's just a personality thing, more resistant to learning how to read. He just wasn't interested in it. Yeah, he didn't really take to Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons. So I pushed him through like half of it. And then the passages were getting longer, and he was just really bucking, like doing his reading lessons. So I just like, let's just go ahead and start the McGuffey primer. And it's been going okay. There was actually a point, I think we did that. That was sometime in kindergarten when we went into the primer. And then I actually just started the primer over this year for 1st grade because he just was still just like having a sour attitude. And things have really, I tweaked some stuff. I made him a new notebook. He started using the companion notebook to go with the primer, and that really helped smooth things out for us. But and then we started doing spelling. So we started doing the spelling, McGuffey spelling level 1, and he's seems to be like better at spelling than reading. I know that the spelling words are easier than the words he's reading in his primer right now, but I remember when I was reading the Eclectic Manual of Methods. Do you guys remember when I was reading it to you guys? If you look at my language arts playlist, there's like some videos where I'm just reading from that manual and talking about what the suggestion was for using the revised McGuffies in teaching reading. And if I recall, they didn't have anything for like spelling that was like separate, but they were just using the words from the reader as spelling words, and basically you would stay there until they could spell and read the same words. Like they were keeping them at the same level. And so if I was really going off of what Bo has like mastered as far as like, because if you think of reading and spelling as two sides of the same coin, you know, decoding and encoding, if you want them to match, he would really still be on a CVC blend level. That's all he would be reading as well if I had allowed him to like keep going on with his reading. So I've always been okay with reading being a little bit more advanced than spelling. But anyways, this kind of our reading journey. I saw this resource, Foundational Phonics. I like saw some other video and I was like, oh, that looks like something I would use. I wish I had seen this back when Teach Your Child to Read 100 Easy Lessons wasn't working out for him. I wish I would have known what this was and switched over to it. So I thought I would show it to you guys in case you're struggling to find kind of like a foundational phonics program before you want to start getting into like readers. And I'll show you what it looks like. So it starts out just going through CVC words, right, with all the short vowels. Here's chapter 1. It shows you the sound you're working on, right, the short A, ah. And then they've got a grouping of words. So this is super similar to his spelling, like spelling words, except that they're just practicing reading them. And then there's a sentence that will have a couple of the reading words in it. So it does that. It goes through basically CVC words with all of the A, E, I, O, and U short vowels. And then it gets into like adding in the silent E. Here, chapter 5, we've got, she calls them consonant twins when you double the consonant. And it's not really the same as the spelling rule. Like, it's not like floss words exactly, if you're familiar with spelling rules, because they're not all floss words. Like an, right, is an N. It's on F, L, S, or Z. Okay, so, and so mostly there's a sound, there's a phonics, concept, there's words they practice, and then they have a little reading passage. It starts out with one sentence and it grows over time. So similar to, same idea as Teach a Child to Read 100 Easy Lessons. Like that's kind of similar. But every once in a while, there'll be a little mastery milestone challenge. There'll be a little activity to do. Anyway, so let's see where they end up on. There's consonant blends, bossy R's, vowel friends. I mean, I call it vowel teams, right? Like A, I, they've got that one. Double E, E, Y. Strange and peculiar sounds, E, I, G, H, pronouncing A, right? These are phonics. I would think of these as phonograms, right? ED, the suffix ED. We know that has multiple pronunciations. So, and she'll give little notes up here. So I just thought this was a nice, gentle introduction if you were looking for something that was like an alternative to Teach a Child to Read 100 Easy Lessons. This might be a better alternative for you. I also liked the font. There is 2 editions of this. And the first edition had a totally different font in it. This font, I like. It's almost identical to the font I use for our handwriting practice, for our copywork and stuff with our McGuffey readers and primer, except I like the tails on mine because I think it's more conducive to learning cursive later. But so I picked up this book recently. I'll link it for you in the description box. I can't remember how much it was. It's like $40 or something like that. I don't know. Something like that, I think. I have just added this to like a warm-up right now for us. So when we do our language arts block, we're still starting with spelling, which a lot of the words in this book and his spelling program are exactly this, like a lot of them are the same word. I'm constantly like, oh, that was one of your spelling words. And I think I would apply the same principles to this as I do all the things that they're working on, is they stay on that particular lesson until they have it mastered and they are fluent with it and stuff. So we're still doing our spelling, but then I'll do like a page or two of this for a warm-up. And I'm kind of using this to gauge if there's any holes, if there's anything that he's like forgetting over time, or maybe I thought he had a certain skill mastered, but maybe he really just had those particular words memorized after reading the same passage so many times. So this is kind of like it's trailing behind what he's reading in his primer, but I'm using it to like for review and to kind of systematically check for holes. Yeah, that's new for him. Okay, moving on to my 8th grader. He has some new stuff. My 4th grader, nothing new. He's trucking along. My big push subject with him right now is math. So we've got some math themed stuff. So the Murderous Math series of books, he read the first, I think it's 10 in the original series, but there's a few more books that had come out later, and he said he did want them. So I picked up The Fiendish Angletron, Codes, and The Mean and Vulgar Bits. And these take him like, I don't know, 2 or 3 days to read a whole book. So these go really quickly, but I'm really trying to encourage as much mathematical thinking as possible with him right now. So we are working these into his reading list. Also, I changed math curriculums with him. We were like going back over math facts again. I talked about that recently. So we finished up those math workbooks, and then I was still having him do my math fact worksheets for multiplication and division as like a warm up. And then I've added in Learn Math Fast, Volume 1. So do you guys watch Learning with Boys? She's another YouTuber here. And I will try to find the video I was watching and link it for you. But she was sharing how she had switched to this for her, I think, youngest son, who I want to say is in 7th grade. And she got like the whole set of these. And I did too. And she had a code to save like 10%. So I used her code. I got 10%. I bought the whole entire collection. I just think that for my 8th grader, I just feel like I don't have time to go through full curriculums. This is literally Learn Math Fast. So they're teaching these concepts as fast as possible. It's a really simple layout. So there will be a lesson. I say this is a lesson on division, and they'll read this lesson to themselves. And then there is a worksheet to practice each lesson. Now, also something that I like about this, when you buy this, it'll come with like a code in here, and you can go in and you can print off all the worksheets too. So I'm not having him like write in his book, so I can, I like to pass these down to younger kids. So I will just print him out the worksheets, and sometimes there's like alternate like extra worksheets if you needed to do another one. Maybe you need to repeat a lesson so you're not just doing the exact same one. So I think that's a neat feature of this program as well. A lot of this stuff he's kind of seen before, but I just want to make sure he has it. We're doing 2 lessons a day in here, so he's been doing like a math fact worksheet, multiplication, division, whatever, as a warm-up, and then he does 2 lessons. And the answers are all in the back, so it makes it really easy to check your work. And I'll keep giving you more updates as we go. Like we're almost already done with volume 1. I feel like I remember people talking about this curriculum back. You guys, if you remember, the base of my homeschool is the Robinson curriculum, and there's a really big focus on just learning their math facts the first few years. And I remember somebody once sharing that this is what they were using. The whole beginning of this, volume 1, is math facts. I was like, oh, I remember people talking about this. So anyways, it's going well so far. I like how simple it is. I like the printable worksheets. And it's supposed to be like your entire like K through 12 math education. You can get in like 8 books. So I have this set, and I'll be giving you more updates as we go. Oh yeah, for him also, I was going to say, this is like the first time I've let him have a calculator. Like, I've been such a stickler, right? Like, no, you have to know your math facts. And I finally broke down and I bought him a calculator. It's to the point when his math were like, it's just taking so long. There's so many steps and stuff. And honestly, just for the sake of time and accuracy, as long as he knows the steps, he understands the concepts, I don't mind if he, at this point, is using a calculator to find the individual, steps. Okay, and then for mom, what is mom reading? I just bought What It Means to Be Protestant. I haven't started it yet, and I don't know if you guys are interested in this, but I was raised, in a charismatic evangelical church. I was raised Foursquare. I married my husband, who was raised Baptist, and we've mostly gone to non-denominational churches. And I keep finding myself drawn to discussions of theology and like church history. And I've shared recently I've been taking another Hillsdale course, because they're free. They offer them for free, Ancient Christianity. And just kind of been wondering, like, what are we doing at church anymore? Like, what are we doing here? I keep finding myself drawn to like podcasts and YouTube videos and interviews and things that are mostly Catholics and Eastern Orthodox Christians having. And Dr. Ortlund is one of the few Protestants that is like throwing his, I feel like, voice into these conversations that are topics that I'm interested in and that I want to hear a Protestant perspective on. So I think this is his newest book, but yeah, it just came yesterday and I'm excited to read it. It's not too long. So this is what I'm going to be reading. So Christmas is coming up. So there was one year, I feel like this is the first year that I really have not tried to do anything in our homeschool time having to do with Christmas. I just don't have the energy. we're just keeping our normal schedule. We decorated, not in the schoolroom, but mostly just the dining room, is decorated for Christmas, and like entryway, and the little boys have their own little tree in their room. They always kind of decorate their mantle, and they have their own little tree every year in their room. But just some simple decorations, and we're definitely enjoying the season. But I just took the pressure off myself this year not to like do some kind of Christmas unit or read a particular Christmas book or anything like that. I just felt better this year, just keeping things simple, just keeping school normal, just the way it is. And yeah, I just didn't feel any desire to do anything extra or change things up. So I know am I lame? I don't know, but I feel peaceful. We're definitely like listening to Christmas music around the house and going to look at lights and enjoying the season. But yeah, I'm not doing anything Christmas school. Thanks for hanging out and catching up, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.